the hottest anime on the streets in the year of our Lord, 2024. Let's talk about DanDaDan. So, last month, I got to see the first 3 episodes of DanDaDan in theaters in like a kind of theatrical kind of cut.
Like what we did with Demon Slayer?
Yeah. It was like not necessarily like a movie, but a theatrical cut of the first 3 episodes that was subbed. I don't believe at the time the dubs had like caught up on recording those first 3 episodes. And so just to give you a rundown really quickly of DanDaDan, obviously we'll talk about the first 2 episodes. I won't talk about episode 3. It's also been like a month and a half for me, so that episode I'm a little hazy on. But DanDaDan is a new anime from animation studio Science Saru, starring Shion Wakayama / Abby Trott as Momo Ayase and Natsuki Hane / AJ Beckles as Ken Takakura. Momo Ayase is a high school girl who believes in ghosts but not aliens, while her classmate Ken Takakura, whom Momo nicknames Okarun, believes in aliens but not ghosts. In a bet to determine who is correct, the two decide to separately visit locations associated with both the occult and the supernatural, Momo visiting the former and Okarun visiting the latter. Mike, you've seen the first 2 episodes so far. I assume you watched dubbed. What do you think of DanDaDan so far? And is it already anime of the year, despite only being 2 episodes in? How are you feeling right now, Mike?
Well, Barrett, I'll tell you what, it's got some energy.
Yep.
It's got some gas.
Yep.
Barrett, this could be a hot show.
Ooh.
This could be a red hot show. I was impressed through and through. You know me, I don't like getting too on the horny side in some of these shows.
Yeah.
It did take me there at one point, but we got past that. And we got to some really fun stuff that I really, really enjoyed. I loved the 2 characters being from 2 walks of life, the little nerdy guy and the hot, cool girl, right? And it's like, okay, they come together, and my favorite is like, you're going to go to the haunted house, and you're going to go over here to where we think aliens are at. You call me, let's see what happens. Yep. And, of course, just mayhem. And it was so much fun. Turbo Granny really stole the show, trying to eat on people's junk. I think it's like, there was a moment where it's like, you brought it up so well, and I want you to say, what was it like? It was
So to me, this show, and this is how I felt leaving the theater when I saw the first 3 episodes a month ago. It's got the energy of Fooly Cooley and the absurdity of Mob Psycho 100. And I think the impressive thing, and I'll kick it back to you in a second here, I think the impressive thing is that it doesn't feel like it's in the shadow of either of those things. It really feels like it stands on its own. And while I've been watching it, I'm never thinking, oh, this is just a lesser Mob Psycho. Oh, this is just a lesser Fooly Cooley. I think it's able to blend so many things in terms of horror, comedy, rom-com type of stuff, and just like typical kind of shonen type of action, blends it all really well to make it its own thing that I think is utterly fantastic.
Yeah, like you said it so well to me when I looked at you, and you're like, it felt like Fooly Cooley. It's a modern Fooly Cooley to me, and that's what this was, right? We jumped on that. We tried it last time, and we had fun.
Yep.
I was like, oh, there's that vibe again, like this weird, wacky, kind of like alien monsters meet together, but we're still having fun.
Yeah.
And it's all about, we're coming of age, we're learning to love, and we're growing together. It's like, this is a good time, and some cool animations.
Oh, my
Man,
gosh.
there was some really dope artwork mixed with the fighting animations where it's like, oh, this is fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and in terms of like Fooly Cooley, like I really loved, that was like one of the pieces of homework that we gave ourselves last year to watch that for the first time. And something that I thought was really striking was that, Fooly Cooley definitely is an absurd show, at least the original Fooly Cooley. There's been like 3 or 4 like revivals or follow-up series of Fooly Cooley. But that original run, I think captures, like growing up and learning about yourself as like a sexual being in some way, shape, or form, and the absurd nature and the absurd emotions that you have going through that and in that coming of age. And I think DanDaDan does something similar very well, and is able to kind of back up its commentary in very powerful ways, more so than I would say Fooly Cooley. Right, like there's in the first episode, it was funny. You were talking about DanDaDan on the stream with you and Blessing yesterday, where y'all were playing Dragon Ball and you're hyping up DanDaDan. And I saw someone in our chat saying, there was some problematic stuff in that first episode, which I disagree with. I do think it's an uncomfortable situation that Momo is definitely put into when she's
With the
getting
aliens.
abducted by aliens. And then there's this very real situation where she's about to get sexually assaulted. But I think the kind of like actual commentary, it's not like the show is saying like, oh, yes, this is good. But I think the powerful moment is her, taking the wisdom of a woman from her life and using that power to actually fight against that, right? And I love that in that same scene, Okurun has like his big monologue about, believing in aliens, having no friends, and thinking if anybody would be friends with him, it would be aliens. And he gets his own like kind of hyped up monologue, and then he's like, Miss Ayase is like the only one who's like actually wanted to be my friend, and I'm not gonna let you hurt her. But then he's not like the knight in shining armor who saves her, right? Like he immediately gets fucked up, pushed back into the wall, and it's Momo who actually puts this power into her own hands to stick up for herself, which I think was absolutely beautiful. And I think the way that you can I think the fact that they could pull something like that off in the middle of like all of this crazy music, flashy animation, all that stuff, I think that stuff is really, really impressive. And I think it's only going to get more absurd and crazy from here on out.
That's well said.
This episode is brought to you by Phasmophobia. The genre-defining horror game is finally coming to consoles on October 29th, 2024.
What did you see? Okay, never mind, we're coming. Hello?
That's right, just in time for Halloween, the phenomenon that is Phasmophobia enters console early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S with full cross-play supported across the platforms. Join the already almost 20 million players on Steam, including our very own SnowBikeMike, and get ready for some spine-chilling ghost hunting with up to 3 friends. Making sure you work as a team and utilize your equipment is key to making it out alive. It's almost time, Ghost Hunters. Phasmophobia is finally entering early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S on October 29th. Wishlist now and prepare for the terrifying ghost hunts that await.
This episode is brought to you by New World Eternum. New World Eternum is a thrilling action RPG experience for console and PC players with a vibrant world, vast and beautiful setting, dynamic real-time action combat, and the freedom for players to choose how to forge their destiny. Combat is skill-based and dynamic, incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery so that you can build one character to rule them all as you explore Eternum and unravel the mysteries of the supernatural island that you can't leave. You love playing RPGs alone? You can in New World Eternum, or play cooperatively with your friends as you complete quests, get better gear, and level up. Greg played this at Summer Game Fest on PlayStation 5 and was caught off guard by how much he enjoyed it and how many hours he said he could see himself sinking into the final product. There's boss fights, cool enemies, crossplay, resource gathering, and crafting. So yeah, this sounds like a Greg game. New World Eternum is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. This episode is brought to you by Marvel Snap. Y'all know Marvel Snap completely took over my life when it burst on the scene 2 years ago. I love it so much that I even mentioned it in my wedding vows, because to this day, my wife Gia is so obsessed that she has not missed a single day of completing her daily challenges. Marvel Snap is an award-winning collectible card game that combines deep strategy, a unique snapping mechanic, and your favorite Marvel characters with thousands of unique card art variants created by renowned artists to collect and use. Each game only takes about 3 minutes, so you can get in and out wherever you are. And with more than 270 cards in Marvel Snap with over 2,000 unique art variants, you'll always find some new fun. Marvel Snap just celebrated their 2nd anniversary, and to say thank you, they're throwing a party. Boosters, credits, variants, borders, and more are all up for grabs just by logging in daily, starting on their anniversary, October 18th. Download the Marvel Snap app now, available on the App Store, Google Play, and Steam, or visit marvelsnap.com to learn more. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium, polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I am out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades.
And that's really cool that you saw that, right? Like, that's what you took away from that. Because, yeah, it is very flashy. It's quickly in your face where he jumps in and all of a sudden he's turning into Turbo Granny and we're flying all over the board. And, yeah, that's really dope because, yeah, she's so powerful and she learns that power. She gets that power and, of course, helps him out in a number of situations in episode 1 and 2. But, yeah, for me, Barrett, that music stuck out too.
Ooh,
the Tros, bro?
Let's talk about the
Tros. Dude, we're starting to call it the Tros now.
The Tros. I like that. Give me
the Tro was crazy.
Otonoke by Creepy Nuts. Dun, 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 dun. Like, it is the bop of not the summer, but I would say the fall time, right? We're in the fall season of anime,
it's a bop.
pretty much. And it has taken over the internet, right? Like, I'm seeing people who don't talk about anime ever see this intro, tweet about this intro, post about this intro. Like, it has definitely captured people. And the outro as well is also really fun and cute.
Very good
I can't wait to meet that cat, whoever
What's
that
up with
cat.
this cat,
I don't know.
What's up with this cat,
I love the
y'all?
cat dancing with the real cat because it's like a Lucky Charm cat.
I need to know what's up with this cat, this bodega cat. I'm going to start calling him now.
Yes. But yeah, I really loved the first 2 episodes.
Turbo Granny just wants to munch on some nuts. Dude. That was crazy.
I'll let you suckle my teeth if you let me gobble your dong.
I wrote that down. I was like, this show's ridiculous.
My God. Like, whoever the voice actor is for Turbo Granny, I think is incredible.
Yeah.
The aliens, I forget what the alien race was called, but I think they might have been all voiced by the same person, like each creature. And that performance was also like astounding, just like really impressive, like just the tiny little inflections that they could give each of the different aliens. Yeah, and then the second episode, right? We'll talk like very like vague spoilers here, but we see the kind of like team up finally of like Momo and Okarun like actually having to like figure out how to fight with how to fight together and fight like another alien.
Yeah.
This big baseball sumo alien or whatever is going on here, right? I loved the use of color or lack of color thereof.
Yes, it was very interesting that we went into like black and white most of the time with a little bit of touches, and it was like, oh, this is wild.
It definitely felt like a film type of decision to make, and I love that was the choice that they made. So when they kind of figure out giving Okarun his version of the Turbo Granny like kind of style and all that stuff, the way the reds and the whites pop and stuff, especially when he starts to get into his fighting, like very good. And also, like you've already said, like the music when that kicks in, when fights start, like
real good,
you get hyped.
When he gets in the moody mood, I'm like, oh, that's so good.
Yo, I just don't want to be alive, yo. Like, AJ is so good. Like,
so good.
Like, AJ nailed in that first episode of, like, the nerdy, kind of shonen protagonist, a little high-pitched, like, a kind of whiny, but, like, endearing, right?
Yeah.
And then to be able to switch into, like, yo, I'm kind of, like, moody and shit. Like, the way he can pop back and forth. And, full disclosure, I have started reading ahead on DanDaDan.
Oh.
There might be some other characters that I'm excited to hear those performances because there might be some similar vibes of, like, kind of swapping back and forth between some different moods.
She's going to be all tied up then. Because she's in love with the moody mood.
Yeah,
when that moody mood kicks on, bro.
And, like, here's the thing is, like, you know, it was one of those, when I was watching it in theaters, I went on my own, couldn't convince Alyssa to come see it. I think you might have been busy, or it was like, it was a tough sell because it was subbed. And so I went on my own, and once, like, I could tell, like, the first episode was ending, where we get the name reveal of I'm Ken Takakura, and the spaceship blows up behind Ayase, and she has this moment of, like, oh man, I've been looking for my Ken Takakura,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
for those who don't know, was like a famous actor in Japan for decades and decades and decades. So she has like this huge crush on, you know, a young Ken Takakura, and she's been looking for hers. And the fact that it's his name, I could not help but grin from ear to ear. And I was like, I don't know if Alyssa's going to stay onto the show, but for this moment, I need her to watch this.
You gotta see this.
And so she tried it out. She's definitely in for now. She's gonna. We'll see in a couple weeks if she stays on. But yeah, such a special show.
Yeah, that's my biggest compliment. Is I wrote on my final notes, it's like I would keep watching more of this, right? And like you have shown me, and the audience has shown me a number of animes, and I've enjoyed watching them. Very, very few you'll find where you're like, oh, I'll watch more of that. Like, give me more of that right now. So,
100%.
DanDaDan, you're on my list. You're on the list now.
You're on the list, DanDaDan.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know how many episodes the season will be. I feel like a lot of like first seasons for anime are usually on the shorter side.
Give
They'll
me
do like
eight-
a half, like
8
a
to 12.
Yeah, 8 to 12 I could see. So yeah, we'll have a good few months of DanDaDan at least, and so that's going to be a tough one when that goes away. Similar to Chainsaw Man, similar to Spy Family, similar to Skate the Infinity. Where are you, season 2?
When those go away, it's tough.
it's
right
tough.
there.
It's
Yeah,
so tough.
I forget about how good we're living right now, especially as the new anime fan, where I have hundreds of episodes, but it is wild to be in like the thick of it, where it's like, oh no, that's the season.
Yeah.
We'll see it in a while, and you're like, oh no.